Kanye just told us when his first sneaker without Adidas is going to release. Nike's just about to release a Yeezy ripoff, and a whole lot more. But first, let's quickly get into a release recap. There's really not that much. It's been a relatively dry week. Let's kick it off with one of the highlights of the month, and that is the Clot Nike Dunk Low Fragment collaboration. It's definitely not going to be my favorite collab dunk of the year, but in terms of just the sneaker itself, it's clean. It was also extremely limited, so if you manage to get a pair, that is a massive W. Big Red boot restocked. I don't know if anybody asked for that because it is still sitting in a full size run. So if you wanted to pick up a pair which costs more than if you just went to StockX, then feel free. And then of course we had the Sporty and Rich Adidas collaboration drop on June the 15th. There was 3 different colorways. I'm really struggling to jump on the Samba wave, but I gotta say that this blue and sail colorway isn't too bad, so I might try and pick myself up a pair and just give it a go. And that's pretty much it for the release recap. So let's jump into this upcoming news. Let's start with the Bad Bunny Adidas Response CL Core Black. This is a pair of shoes that we spoke about last week. However, now we actually have a release date and it's literally around the corner. These are going to be dropping on June the 24th. This one just doesn't seem like it's in the same caliber as the other collaborations in terms of materials and details, but again, I've yet to try it, so I'll try and pick up this colorway because it's really not too bad. For an all black pair of shoes, pretty solid. All right, we got a pretty big update on the upcoming Maniere Jordan 5 collaboration. So we know that there's going to be 2 colorways that were dropping. We thought was kind of like this sail colorway. Turns out they're switching things up. So this is going to be the counterpart to the black colorway. This one is called the Photon Dust, and both of them should be dropping this holiday season. So the first pair we've already seen leaks for. It is this one over here, all over black suede. Now these are not the greatest images, so I will give them the benefit of a doubt, but from what it looks like, this doesn't seem like it's going to be as premium as the previous collaborations we've seen from Jordan Brand and Maniere. So the big update with this pair is that this colorway, this second colorway other than the black one, is going to be a women's and kids exclusive. What you're looking at is a speculative mock-up of the colorway that should be dropping this holiday season. Now this is done by Z Sneakerheads, who tends to be pretty accurate. So as you can see, the upper is pretty much all over white. You do have the number 23 on the side, which I don't think the black pair has. It also looks to be made of leather. It has some blue details. Either way, like I said, we don't have any specific release date, just at some point during the holiday season. Right, we just got our first looks at a pair of sneakers that is actually pretty surprising. So take a look at this. This is the Paris Saint-Germain Air Jordan 6 Low, and I gotta be honest, these things are looking pretty fire. The PSG Jordan collaborations have been pretty hit or miss. Some I really like the Jordan 4s, and then others have been pretty meh, but I think this is a pretty solid colorway, and it kind of looks good for a Jordan 6 Low. You can see there's just an orange label stitched into the back. Definitely think this is a solid one. At the moment, we don't have a specific release date. This is also going to be a holiday 23 release as well. All right, we got some better looks at these upcoming Satin Bred Air Jordan 1 High OG. Should be dropping this holiday season, I believe. Oh, actually, we now have a release date. October the 18th apparently is when this pair of sneakers is going to drop. Something that I don't think we've seen so far is the fact that these look like they're going to come with wax style laces. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of wax style laces. On my Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows, I actually swap it out for regular ones. So these are looking like they're pretty much going to be identical to the 2016 pair that dropped. I think there was only 501 numbered pairs that actually released. Let me know what you guys think of these things down in the comment section. Again, the release is October the 18th. Alright, so we got a little update on the upcoming Air Jordan 11 DMP that's going to be dropping later on this year. So they're actually going to go a little bit more of a premium route with this sneaker. So they're swapping out the traditional mesh that you normally find on Jordan 11s, and they're chucking on some tumbled leather, which actually we have some first look images of, and I don't think it looks too bad. Other than that, they look like they're going to stay true to the DMPs, and we also have a release date, which is December the 9th. Right, if you didn't manage to get the Clot Fragment Nike Dunk Low, well, you might have another opportunity at a completely different pair. Literally, the only thing that's the same is the fact that Clot is involved. Take a look at this. This is the Clot Nike Dunk Low Core. This is also part of Clot's 20th anniversary celebration. This is a completely different makeup. It's actually something that we spoke about last week. We literally got the first look images, and now we have a release date for right around the corner, June the 23rd. The 23rd is when they're going to drop on juicestore.com, which is Clot's website. So I would imagine a Nike sneakers release happens a couple weeks after that. It looks like it comes with a plethora of different options, from like regular leather ones to what looks to be like this pink velvet material. You've got snakeskin, and then a red one down here. Oh, and you even got more. I forgot to scroll down. You got a gold one and a blue looking, is that ostrich leather that they use? Either way, let me know what you think about these. For me personally, it's a bit more of a meh pair of dunks. So a couple weeks weeks ago, we spoke about the Spider-Man movie Across the Spider-Verse, the new one that they just dropped a pair of Jordans for. There was a moment in that movie, which I'm not going to spoil, but we saw a pair of Jordans, and a lot of people were speculating that that pair of Jordans that we saw in the movie was going to be the first looks that we had of what was going to release for the next movie. And now we can actually see what this pair of shoes looks like in real life. Just as speculated, this is a Jordan 1 Stash utility. Now, the strange thing is that this is literally a promo pair that's going to end up being a friends and family exclusive. Apparently, it's limited to just 100 pairs. Looks like they did a whole lot more for this pair of shoes than they did for the ones that actually released. The box is pretty cool. You get this whole bag and then these extra laces in these tubes, which look pretty sick. Either way, it looks like for the third and final Spider-Man movie, the doors are kind of open. They could drop another pair of Jordan 1s when that movie releases next year, or that could be the last of it. We'll have to wait and see, but this is one that's not going to get a public release. This one's pretty interesting. Nike and Fortnite are going to be collaborating on what we don't really know yet. So Nike posted a little video clip of basically this, just the Fortnite Nike Air Max. So there is going to be a Nike Air Max sneaker, but is it going to be an actual physical pair or just a pair of Air Maxes that you kind of unlock in game? Either way, they put the release date up as the 20th of June. Right now, there's not very many details. You have Fortnite, you can check it out on the 20th of June. Right, sticking with Nike, let's talk about those Yeezy ripoffs, which I said at the beginning of the video. This is not the first time that we've seen these slides. These were leaked quite a while ago, and yeah, they do look very, very similar to Yeezy slides, especially when you actually put them side by side with images of Yeezy slides. Like the colorways are very, very similar. And now I have no idea if they're like as comfortable or if they're even comparable in terms of comfort. I definitely would like to grab a pair and check them out, but the release date right now is slated for July the 14th. Let me know if you'd like to see me get a pair in and compare it to a Yeezy slide, because Nike's also undercutting Yeezy. These only retail at $50, unlike Yeezy slides, which I think are about $70 now. Nike's also reinvented a classic. Take a look at this here. This is the all-new Huarache runner. So obviously it takes a lot of the Huarache DNA and kind of, it's a little bit counterintuitive because it's not necessarily more futuristic. It's kind of like they took it and made it into a retro runner. They took a retro shoe and then made it into another retro shoe. But obviously this pair fits a lot more in with kind of what's trending right now. These are the official images, and this colorway should be dropping on July the 6th. All right, let's talk about a sneaker that is pretty hilarious because I've heard a lot of people talking about it recently. The Nike Mac Attack OG returns in 2023. So this pair of shoes right here, I believe was like leaked and rumored ages ago, but then when we saw Travis Scott wearing it, then everybody started being like, okay, let's wake up now. Shit just got serious. There's a whole trailer for this pair of shoes with Travis Scott. He's wearing them, and they're definitely trying to get a lot of that Travis Scott hype into this pair of shoes. This Mac Attack is going to be dropping on the 23rd of June, so right around the corner. What I find interesting is that apparently the Travis Scott version is also going to be dropping this year as well. So it's kind of like they're using Travis Scott to build up hype for this pair of shoes, but then they're going to drop the exact same colorway, literally just a backward swoosh a couple months later. Probably anybody who was interested in this pair of shoes because of Travis Scott will just wait for his version to release. Apparently this Travis Scott version should be dropping this holiday season. Speaking of Travis Scott, we got some better images of his next upcoming sneaker. This one right here, the Jordan 1 Low Golf version. So this holiday season apparently is when this pair of Jordan 1 Low Golf versions are going to be dropping for a retail price of $170. Got a white Nike swoosh on the medial side, and it's also got the Cactus Jack branding. So pretty much these are looking like they're identical to a regular Jordan 1 Low Travis Scott sneaker, but it just has a golf outsole. If you look at it, it does have a lot of similarities to the reverse mochas. They're just kind of switching various colors. I guarantee 90% of these things are not going to be bought and used by golfers. The majority of people are going to buy these things just to rock them casually. Either way, as soon as we get a specific release date for this pair of shoes or any other updates, I'll let you guys know. This one's pretty absurd. Michael Jordan's flu game Air Jordan 12 sells for $1.3 million. So this one's actually pretty interesting because obviously the flu game 12s, if you don't know the story behind it, but it's actually a pretty cool story. And that story is painful and hilarious at the same time. During a game, Michael Jordan gave this pair of shoes to Preston Truman, who was a ball boy. Now, Truman kept these sneakers for 15 years before selling them at auction for $104,000. Now, that was in 2013 that he sold these things, and that would be a massive come up. But if he had just held on to them for a little bit longer, another decade, would have made significantly more because, again, these things sold for $1.3 million. Also got an update on the whole Ja Morant and Nike saga. He has now been suspended for 25 games. You guys know the story. I don't need to get into why he's suspended. If you you don't know, just Google it. Essentially, the whole drama with Ja Morant happened right as Nike was about to drop his signature sneaker, which was gaining a huge amount of hype. And it looks like Nike says that they're going to continue to support Ja Morant after the 25-game suspension. We've also got some new looks at the Adidas Trae Young 3, which is stealing or borrowing the Adidas 22's topographic looks. We've seen a couple different colorways. We've got this red one over here, but there's two other ones, this kind of ombre effect looking midsole pair, and then an all-over white one. I think it'd be a pretty interesting model to try out. Either way, apparently these are going to be dropping at some point here in 2023, but no specific release date. We've got way better looks at Drake's upcoming sneaker, the Nike Nocta Glide. These are going to be dropping right around the corner on the 29th of this month, I believe, so you can see all of the detailed images over here. Not very many people are feeling these things. Some people really like them, others do not. Either way, I personally don't think these are too bad. Definitely has a retro basketball vibe and look to them. Alright, let's talk about Kanye's first sneaker without Adidas, and you guys probably have already guessed what it is. For the past few months, we've seen Kanye out in public rocking socks and leggings. It's a pretty weird combination, and even when I see him in different outfits, not wearing leggings, and I see these socks, there's just something about it that looks pretty odd. Nevertheless, he's pushing forwards with these. We heard the latest update was that he filed a patent for the design of this sneaker. Anyway, we got an update from Kanye West himself. So if you take a look at this video over here, basically the paparazzi asked him, when can people expect the pair of shoes to release that are on your feet? He said, soon, in the next couple of months. People said, what can we expect from these shoes? And he said, comfort. But yeah, it looks like in the next couple months, obviously, if we can take Kanye's word for it, these are apparently going to be releasing. We don't know how, but I have to know down in the comment section, guys, who is with this? Who is buying the Yeezy socks? Nevertheless, we'll have to wait and see, but this does look like it's going to be the first product from Kanye West without Adidas. Michael Jordan is still balling uncontrollably because he just sold his stake in the Charlotte Hornets for $3 billion. Now, what's pretty funny about this story is that J. Cole apparently is part of the new ownership group. And what's crazy is that Michael Jordan bought this Hornets team back in 2010 for $275 million. So he just made an absolute bag. Final story for today, a topic that has been talked about quite a lot over the past few years, and that is just Supreme's declining hype. And this latest article kind of reflects that. Supreme revenue falls $80 million short of expectations, down from a year prior. Supreme generated a total revenue of $525 million for the year ending March 2023. VF Corp's annual report was a $600 million projection that was set. And some people blame this downfall on VF Corp when they acquired Supreme back in 2020. This is something that I feel like has been coming for a long time. I mean, I've just seen less and less people interested in Supreme as a brand. Either way, I'd love to know your opinion down in the comment section, but that pretty much wraps it up for today's news, guys. If there's any sneakers I didn't mention in today's video, I probably spoke about them in last week's episode, which you can go and check out over there.